This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in places that could expose you to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, their US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run, the Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast. You know, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, or you just want to outsmart me on something I'm on here saying, go ahead, shoot us a quick take, 219-413-9405. And of course, we'll play your take back on our next episode. And shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code TheRunPodcast. Now, this code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app or website. So, hey, as I always say, man, it's a lot of football left in the season. It's a lot of basketball definitely still happening. So go ahead, use that promo code TheRunPodcast and save yourself $20 on that next ticket purchase. Anyway, man, speaking of football, I'm excited because some good news for me happened. Man, I couldn't sleep I'm telling you, I had probably the best sleep I ever heard when this news went down, man. So we all know what was going on with the Atlanta Falcons. Kirk Cousins was playing awful. He was playing terrible over the past few games. He started against the Raiders, and that game ended up being a horrific game to watch on a Monday night, especially when people were anticipating some good football it was a Thursday night. On Thursday night, we were anticipating some good football, but that's not what we received at all. Watching Kirk Cousins and the Las Vegas Raiders, and even if you go to the Minnesota Vikings and Green Bay Packers game, it wasn't all that good either. Or it wasn't the Packers, but the Vikings game wasn't all that good either. It was Bears, but it was just a lot of bad play. But I'm more so going to focus on Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons because that's what I was looking for. I was watching to see if they improved at all, and this team did not look any better than what they've looked over the previous 4 weeks. So mind you, the Falcons going into this game were on a 4-game losing streak, and they ended up finally getting a win against the Raiders, but it was the ugliest win I've ever witnessed in my life as an Atlanta Falcons fan. It was definitely up there in competition with some other games that you can think of. However, I will say there's one very good benefit that came out of this game against the Raiders is the fact that Kirk Cousins finally got sent to the bench. So that's what happened. That's why I'm on here so energized, so excited. And I couldn't sleep all week, bro. All week since this news, I've been jumping out of my socks because Kirk Cousins dead ass had me so down bad. Like, man, I was in a bad place mentally when I was talking about football and the season that's going on. I was struggling to really enjoy the season of football. And that's bad. So anybody who watches football, you understand how much we all enjoy watching football together as a unit, talking about it, talking trash and everything. We all enjoy watching football together. We love when the season is in, when college football is in, you get to talk a little trash about your team where you may have went to school or the team that you like in college. But man, watching Kirk Cousins throw the ball, it just depleted everything I liked about football. It just killed it. It killed the whole momentum. I'm like, bro, I'm ready for basketball season. I'm ready for basketball season to be in full effect. Let's go to the opening day. I was done, bro. I started losing it watching Kirk Cousins throw this ball. So I'm so thankful that the Falcons, Raheem Morris, and everybody just finally made the correct decision to bench Kirk Cousins. And, Kirk has been awful. For those out there, we know Kirk Cousins is a great guy. He's a great human being, all of that, very likable person as well. Probably has the best agent, too, in all of sports because his agent somehow finessed him $180 million for 4 years when he was coming off an Achilles injury. So this is the crucial information. But also some more important information here is that Kirk Cousins only threw 1 touchdown in 5 games that he played. There was an interception in every single game that he played in the past 6 or 5 games, something like that. It was at least 1 interception. And this dude, man, he needed to go to the bench. He was asking for it. And now that Michael Penix is finally the starter, man, I can celebrate. And, this is where I think. So we know Michael Penix is a starter. And this is the background of where we are right now as the Atlanta Falcons. So the Falcons, they're in desperation mode right now. Obviously have a 7-7 record after beating the Raiders. And right now they're trying to make a run to still win the NFC South. Now, our competition in the NFC South right now happens to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers, they've been kicking butt. They also have an easy schedule coming up in the last 3 games too. So it's rough. But Buccaneers have us by a game right now. They are 8-6. We're 7-7. However, as long as we can somewhat tie the Buccaneers, we would get into the playoffs. Because with the 10-7 record, we have the tiebreaker if the Bucs somehow end up with a 10-7 record too. So we're in desperation mode. We have to win these next few games against the Giants. We got to win against the Commanders and also the Panthers. These are easy games. Shouldn't even be a problem about winning these ball games, but they're just must-win type of games. And with Kirk Cousins, I was just very unsure if we were even going to have a chance to possibly even come close. So with Michael Penix, there's a huge upside here. Obviously, we finally got Michael Penix starting, and I'm a firm believer that he can only get better from here. I doubt he throws 4 interceptions against the New York Giants. I doubt Michael Penix goes out there and has a bad game. And even if he does, guess what? He can improve. And he won't be as bad as Kirk Cousins. So those are 2 crucial elements you got to think about when you talk about, Michael Penix is young and he doesn't have experience. Obviously, no rookie is going to have experience. So it does, it's a tough thing to say, but it's like, you got to start somewhere. And with the team being so bad at the quarterback position, this is the perfect place to start for Kurt or for Michael Penix Jr. Because there's no film tendencies on what he does well, what he does bad, or what makes him comfortable and uncomfortable. And one of the things I think about when I'm talking about quarterbacks and rookie quarterbacks specifically, or guys who are in their second year and still haven't saw the field is, I believe in Penix because he's had the time to sit on the sideline and evaluate the game from the sidelines, pick apart Kirk Cousins and see what he was doing right, what he was doing wrong, what he should do better, where he's perfectly fine at. So quarterbacks who've had that time to sit on the sideline and watch someone else before them, usually they turn out pretty damn good. Some of the examples I think of is Patrick Mahomes. He sat behind Alex Smith for a second. Lamar Jackson, he was behind Joe Flacco. Tom Brady was behind Drew Bledsoe. With Aaron Rodgers, he was behind Brett Favre. A lot of these quarterbacks who turned out to be a franchise cornerstone or a franchise QB had the time to sit and watch a person before them. And you learn the game that way. I've been on record saying it before. A lot of times quarterbacks go in way too early. They start their career way too early. And then sometimes when this happens, we see media putting them down way too soon. For a prime example, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was with the worst team in his career with the Carolina Panthers. And then all of a sudden now he goes to the Minnesota Vikings and people are like, whoa. Where did this come from? Was he always this good? It's like, yes, he was the number 1 pick. Of course he was this good. It's just he was a bad matchup that didn't really bring out his best value and bring out his best talent. So, it's rough because had he had that time to sit out for a second, Sam Darnold had some time to watch another quarterback in front of him, maybe he would have been a little bit better from the start with the Carolina Panthers. But who knows? Some will never know. But I love it, man. I love the situation right now for the Atlanta Falcons. It's crunch time. Every game is about to be extremely hype. And then, man, Michael Penix, I think he's got it, man. I was shocked when they first drafted a quarterback, but this was the very reason that they did draft a quarterback because, obviously, You know, he was solid in college, and now he's solid too. So we'll see. But look, I got some audio from Michael Penix Jr. as well. He was asked about what he learned from Kirk Cousins. So here's Michael Penix Jr. on what he learned from Kirk Cousins on his time on the sideline. Here we go.
A lot, like Kirk, just the way he processed, the way he speaks to the team, you know, in meetings on the field, you know, just the command he has, you know, to the offense, you know, getting things the way that he wanted so that, you know, he could play fast. And, you know, it's just the things he said in the huddle, you know, I was in the huddle today and walkthroughs and like, just remember some of the stuff he did and just saying it the way he said it, you know, because like, man, I look up to Kirk, you know, and like Kirk, like to be honest, Kirk couldn't do no wrong in my eyes. So it was like, dang, like when I saw him in camp, you know, leading all the way up through the season, it's like he's special. Like he's doing that at this age, and he did a great job, you know. And I'm talking about getting through his progressions, making a pass to the fifth read. Our fifth read, like you don't see that a lot, you know, scoring touchdowns and doing stuff like that. It's like, dang, how is he processing the game so quickly to get to that fifth read, to make that play? You know, you're just trying to learn stuff like that, and just seeing how he cancel out certain routes and stuff like that based on coverages. You know, I feel like I learned a lot of that, and you know, I'm ready to showcase it. So.